welcome to everybody who's joining us here in person and also on Zoom. I'm so excited by the turnout for this AGM. It makes my heart very, very happy because it has been certainly an interesting year of ups and downs, some meetings, some Zoom meetings. And I just want to open our AGM by thanking all of you, our members, for sticking with us this year. 2020 was a difficult year, as Sue knows. We all had hoped that 2021 would be perhaps a smoother year, but unfortunately, the pandemic stayed with us. So I am really proud of our board, as I said in the president's note in the AGM booklet, that this board has worked so hard for every single one of you. Really, yeah, I think. Along with our group leaders and our area reps, we have come together as the club in a way that I think nobody quite anticipated could happen in order to keep our community together and to keep our community strong, which is why at the beginning of the year, when the theme strength and community, we didn't know quite how much we would need that community to keep us together and keep us going forward during these strange times. So what do I need to say? I think a lot of the things that I needed to say are already in the AGM booklet, but I would like to highlight a few things because not everyone always wants to read a whole booklet. As I said, our board has done really amazing things this year in order to keep our club strong for the future and for our new incoming board, which is one of the reasons we have this AGM, so that we can welcome the new members for our 2022 board. We have had meetings every month. They haven't always been in person at Kelvin, but we have had them on Zoom. We've had interesting speakers, and we have been able to say that as a club, we have kept continuity through the year. Not every club in other places have been able to do this. So we can be really proud of the fact that we have kept us going and financially solvent, as Fernandez would say, and Sergio is able to confirm. And we together, because so many other places, when faced with the difficulties, they weren't unfortunately able to make it go and happen. But because of our members, because of our board, because of every single one of you that contribute to this club, here we are today and for the future. A few of the other exciting things that have happened this year, partly due to the pandemic, is that we've made connections with overseas clubs. So we had a cultural exchange with Vilnius in Lithuania. We did a cooking demonstration, a Hungarian cooking demonstration through our Swedish club, Stockholm. We have had discussions with Dublin, and there's many more to come. I know that this board is also excited to have more collaborations with overseas clubs, because it makes us truly be part of a larger world. It's kind of an updated pen pals. And it's also a way of saying that we are an international women's club. We are women throughout the world, and we face a lot of the same issues, and we understand the value of having friendship and of having a support network. And so to be able to have that all over the world and to share what we love here in Cape Town with others overseas, and the same for them to us, is a wonderful thing. What else have we done? We've got a new website, thanks in part a lot to the work that Victoria has done. You can see we have our newsletter online now. For those of us, for those who were unable to attend in person or who wanted to see our financials before this meeting, in case they had any questions, they're uploaded. The whole AGM booklet with the financials is uploaded in the members only section of our website. So all these things, so that we can be efficient as a club, are happening. That's what our board has done. It's not always so glamorous, but it allows us to continue. What else do we say? I think there's just so much to say, but I think I will let members of the board say it for their own portfolios. But the biggest thing that I want to say is to truly thank you all for staying and being part of this club and supporting us during this year. So thank you guys very much.
I'm Vanessa Hofmeyer, your treasurer. So unfortunately, it is the more serious part of the meeting today, just going through the numbers. You would have received the AGM booklet, which does have all the expenses detailed there for you. We aren't giving new members the benefit of the discount just because they haven't had the benefit of being members for in the club for a year. So if you can recall, when you did join, the one-off fee is 600. That's just to join the club, but it's once off and you only pay that the first time you join. And new members, both last year and this year, have been paying the 620, which is the 2019 fee. So we haven't increased it, but they are paying 620 fee. So, and that will apply into next year as well. You have that reserve in case of an emergency. And we thought actually the COVID year was pretty much an emergency year, but we've been extremely fortunate that we haven't needed it because the club activities were also reduced materially. So we didn't need to go into that. So the fixed deposit hasn't been touched and it's been earning interest for the last 2 years, which is one of the reasons why I can confidently say that the financial state of the club is healthy. So we have our existing club fees and expenses all covered, and then we still have the fixed deposit reserve there in case of emergency. So we'll need to work out what the next emergency will be. I'm sure there'll be one we haven't thought of, but that's just, COVID has taught us life is fluid and things change. So I think that's it. I don't know if there are any questions you want to deal with now, or if I can hand over, first of all, a spot prize. Treasurer person really enjoys people paying money. So this is a new thing. But the first person to pay on time as the invoice went out was Susan Fernandez. So Susan, so you have no idea how happy that makes a treasurer as the money starts coming in. It deserved a prize. So that was very important. And so most importantly, I would like to hand over to Sergio Martinengo. He is our auditor. He is a phenomenal support to the treasurer. You need to understand that just knowing that when you don't know what to do, who to call, Sergio is there. He's available. He's patient. He's kind. He's unbelievably efficient. So as a club, we need to be very grateful for this resource that we have at our fingertips. So thank you very much, Sergio.
Thank you, Vanessa. I'm embarrassed. I'm not sure I deserve all of that. Anyway, Madam Chair, Madam President, ladies. Whoa, maybe the Wokes won't like that. Madam President, whatever. Anyway, good morning, goeiemorgen, buongiorno, buenos dias, etc. I'm, as a member of the male species, I'm really not perturbed about being here. I'm rather happy. I feel like one of you. I'm gobsmacked. You guys are incredible. The board, every year that I've known the board, gets better and better. And fortunate. Just a quick comment on the financials. Some of you may have read the report. What the report says is that I take no responsibility for anything. It's all their fault. But it does say that I'm happy with the financials, which represent a true and correct state of affairs, financial affairs of the club, and that is so. I think Vanessa just mentioned that COVID itself has proved to us how fluid life is. I think something else that's going to prove to us how fluid life is artificial intelligence. Get ready for that. And the bigger problem maybe is this woke ideology, which is going to challenge our mores, our morals, and our ethics. So just bear with it. It's going to happen. And perhaps, in the words of Barry Kaufman, you should heed this: the way we choose to see the world creates the world we see. I'm not here to philosophize. I'm sorry, I got carried away a bit. I have nothing much else to say. I want to thank Vanessa in particular, and I believe she had a bit of help from Sue. And thanks to the board, I think they've done a wonderful job. I'm envious. I've never seen a man's club run so well. I mean it. I leave you with, as usual, some pearls of wisdom. A woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle.
Can we please approve the financials? There we go. Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, Sue. Yes, thanks very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start with the summary of the Vice President's report this morning, I just first of all want to take a moment for all of us to stop and pay tribute to our wonderful President, Amanda. And I want to thank her sincerely for all that she has done for this club during this past year. It has been a very difficult year. She, as you know, has faced a terrible personal tragedy, and yet she has remained strong and steadfast in her support for the club and for us as a board. Our board has worked exceptionally well together this year as a team. They've all been can-do kind of people. They've risen to all the challenges with energy and enthusiasm, and Amanda's dynamic leadership is what has pulled us together. She and Victoria have dragged us kicking and screaming into the 21st century with our new website, with our online newsletter, and she has made us embrace Zoom and made us understand what a hybrid meeting is. Her love for the IWC is very clear in all that she has done. And she has, I know, very much appreciated the wonderful friendship shown by many members during difficult times. Cometh the hour, cometh the woman. And we have indeed been extremely lucky and truly blessed to have had Amanda as our president this year. Thank you. As you know, a huge amount of thought and preparation goes into organising our group activities. And I would now also like to express my sincere thanks on behalf of the club membership to all the group leaders and the area reps for their hard work, dedication, and adaptability during 2021. We should all remember that they are volunteers who give their time and hard work freely to our club. It has been incredibly hard to plan events during such uncertain times, and it's a tribute to their fortitude when we see just how much the club has been able to offer this year. When we were under the strictest of lockdowns, some of our activities, as you know, were on Zoom, such as Zumba, music appreciation, the Great Journeys presentations, and our area reps were also making sure our club members felt connected by keeping in touch on WhatsApp groups and even Zoom coffee mornings. We were very pleased to welcome Xenia, who is our new area rep for the City Bowl area. And we said thank you to Lorraine Dex and Ginny Milietto for having looked after that area in the past. We also want to thank Jane Fairley and Petra for their hard work as area reps for Rondebosch and surrounding areas. We are still looking for area reps for Area 4. This year, we're also pleased to see that the One Dish Club has been revived. Thank you to Sue Allenby. And in addition, we have offered international cuisine pop-up events. And 2 new groups have been formed, namely our jazz group, thank you very much to Elena, and a theatre group, thank you to Suzette. We also have some very exciting new groups planned for next year. So the club really can offer something for everyone as we move forward. If you have any suggestions for a group activity which you think might appeal to our members, then please let me know. The IWC is a friendship club, and the group leaders and the area reps are the backbone of that ethos, and their efforts ensure that all our members, especially new ones, can feel part of our community. I have been so impressed by the kind care and support offered to members who have experienced difficult times, especially under COVID. Our club has thrived and remained strong at a time, as Amanda said, when many other organisations have faltered. So I think we can all be very proud of the IWC Cape Town as we move forward into 2022. Thank you very much.
Morning, everyone. I suppose every household has a housekeeper, and the club is no different in that. There's somebody who's got to look after the basics and somebody who makes sure that the meetings happen as they do. And that is the role of the secretary, which is what I am. My name is Marianne Lovell. And I just want to say that in this year characterized by COVID-19, the IWC board was never deterred from its quest to serve its members in the fullest sense possible. We were determined to hold a general meeting every month, whether virtually or in a hybrid style, yet always putting the health and safety of our members first. We soon realized that we needed to track attendance to see whether we were reaching as many members as we could. Therefore, a monthly attendance report was drawn up, giving us feedback on whether members had attended in person whenever that was possible, or via Zoom, or had taken the opportunity to watch the meeting on YouTube at a time that was suitable to them. Each of these avenues proved vital, especially as the number of our members found themselves overseas. Through using technology to our benefit, our reach stretched far and wide, which confirmed that we were on the right track, and it was pleasing to see members taking advantage of our offerings. During the course of the year, the database was also looked at in more detail, as we wanted to ensure that the information available to us was complete and relevant. Hence, some of my time was spent in contact with those members whose information needed updating. And I wish to thank them for their cooperation and understanding. And I'm happy to advise that we now have a fully workable database. Nobody wants that job, huh? It was a pleasure. And I must say, I had some lovely conversations with some of the members, and I didn't know who I was talking to, but we had lovely chats, and it was really special. In the same way, the club constitution was consulted regularly to ensure correct procedures were followed. The rules of the constitution had to be upheld, and this led to the realization that there were a number of ambiguities, and questions arose. Thanks to Amanda, a well-known law firm has agreed to place the IWC on its list of pro bono clients and will provide expert legal advice on our constitution so that it will comply with modern financial and legal regulations and to iron out those anomalies that have arisen over the years. So, thank you, Chairman. Looking forward, the storage and safekeeping of secretarial and financial information was highlighted. Again, using available technology in such a way that the data for this year can be stored for easy access by boards in the years to come. In the new year, the capturing of past year's performance for past year's information in the same format should be given a priority. As has been said before, we have Amanda and Victoria to thank for the revision of the website. It is now far more user-friendly, allowing members full access to not only the monthly newsletters, but also the minutes of the general meetings each month. These are normally displayed at Kelvin when possible, but now it's no longer a cause for concern when we hold Zoom meetings, as those minutes are loaded on the website as well, and can be read at any time. And they appear under the section titled Minutes and Meetings. For us, it wasn't only a case of being compliant, though. Our objective was to reach all our members, whether here or abroad, with information that they are entitled to as members of IWC. So for us, communication was vital this year, and I hope that you felt that a difference has been made. I wish to take this opportunity of thanking Shahima Davids and her team here at Kelvin Grove for their consistent support. We have built a strong relationship with Kelvin Grove over the years and appreciate their efforts to accommodate our requests, especially in this time of COVID as the rules just keep changing. I also extend my personal gratitude to Amanda, our president, for her leadership and encouragement, and to my fellow board members for their cooperation and support during the year. We have built a strong team, streamlined the operations of the club and the board, and worked together exceptionally well. It's a year I will always remember, especially for the relationships formed. And finally, let me just say that it's been a pleasure to serve you, the members of IWC, during this 2021 year. Thank you.
Good morning, dear members. Buenos dias. First of all, I just want to thank you your support in this year. Yes, we didn't have enough general meetings to present the new members. That's why we decided to present it to you on Facebook. We also did with some of the new members from the last year, from 2020. Yes, in the IWC, every member is very important. You are part of the IWC. That's why we decided to present to you the new members with all their characteristics because they are unique. You are unique. And also we had the opportunity to have some interviews in the newsletter. Yes, it was a crazy year. We have 33 new members. Now we have 364 members in total. We have members from Austria to Zambia and from Zimbabwe, of course. But yes, we are an international women's club, but we are very lucky to have the locals, to have the South Africans. You are here with open arms to say welcome to every member and some overseas members like me, even if we don't speak perfect English. Thank you. And thank you, all of you, because you brought your friends to the club. We are always happy to see and to meet new possible members. Thank you. And it was a pleasure to be your membership chair this year. For me, it was the highlight of the year in this crazy year. Thank you very much.
I always repeat myself, but I don't know what to say because in this terrible time of COVID and we didn't have meetings, people have been just overwhelmingly, it could make you want to cry. The generosity is just incredible of all sorts of things. And as I've said before, even the smallest thing means something. A combination, you can give R1, but if 500 people give R1, it's 500 rand, it goes far. And just think, you may have given a skirt and a blouse that you no longer wear, you didn't like. And some lady has worn it and gone for a job interview and got the job. Can you imagine what it's done to her? Or that loaf of bread that you've paid for ladles. These children go to school, have a meal, and are able to study because they've got a full tummy. And maybe one of those children will reach greatness thanks to one of us who have given a loaf of bread. So please continue with your generosity. I also want to thank my Red Hat ladies for doing a wonderful job on those few meetings we've had. I want to thank Geraldine as well. She has been absolutely marvelous. And we always forget, I think, sometimes, but the bookstall does a phenomenal job and amount of money they collect for animal rescue. So I want to thank Hope van Breda, Tyler Naidu, Felicity Axter, and Susan Fernandez. And especially, I've been doing it for 20 years. Next month, November, we're collecting for, got to get the name right here, Tunta Kunya, which means learn together. Karen from our club has got this group of ladies who look after children, but they've got nothing there. The children just sit in their houses and in their shack and do nothing. So she has got together and she's training them physically and mentally what to do with the children. So that's why we're collecting jigsaws and books and all those kind of things to stimulate these children. So without cash donations, the ladies can actually go on a course where they learn how to do almost like a teaching course to help them, which I think is a marvelous idea. And then we're also going to help chic mamas, which we all know about. And if you've got any nice clothes, which they resell, of course, jewelry and belts, which they can resell, if you can bring it next month. And again, we had a fabulous board. It was great. And I think in the middle of COVID, all our members, we've almost done miracles. And thank you very, very much.
For those who don't know me, my name is Victoria Dickerson, and I am the Social Media and Communications Chair. So as I say in my report, when Amanda asked me to fill her very large shoes, even then, and take over social media, I was very daunted. But then I thought, 2021 will be very different, and we'll be back to normal by then. Yeah, not so much. But it was different. Hybrid meetings. I just want to thank everybody for their patience and support with the registration system. That I appreciate change is difficult and uncomfortable, but we have to follow the rules, whether they're government rules or Kelvin rules. And I think we finally got there. Whether we'll need them for next year, I'm hoping not, but I think Kelvin might actually impose it as a security issue rather than a COVID issue. So be aware of that. As I say, I get to sit at the back. Usually I keep a low profile because of my Zoom duties. I'm hi to my Zoomettes, as I now christen them, especially those who are always there. I'm talking of Helen Brown, Felicity Axton, who aren't able to come to meetings, but they're always there on Zoom, and they always support me with a lovely email here and there. So I really appreciate that. I just want to give them a mention. Again, it's been very different. We dragged us into the 21st century. Amanda was very keen to change the website, so we got there, and we came up with a call to action, which I didn't actually know what one was, so I had to Google it when Amanda said we need a call to action. So I've learned something. So make friends, make memories, make a difference, which I really think encapsulates the aim of our club. So just on that point, if anybody's having any problems logging in, please email me at media@iwccapetown.co.za. I prefer if you email me on that. 2 reasons. One, it's much easier not to get wrong because my email address is toria.dickerson@gmail.com, not Victoria. And there's more than one Victoria Dickerson in the world. So it just keeps it clean, and I can keep all the problems in one place and respond to you much quicker. Okay. I just want to say congratulations to our graduates of the social media course. We had the final one on Friday. So, and I think they need to be very proud of themselves, because they have certainly gone from being quite cut off from the club, and now they're on WhatsApp and they can download the newsletter. I hope after Friday, and but I think they were very much more connected. That's the feedback I'm getting, so I'm very happy about that. Facebook. What I'm trying to achieve with Facebook is to try and get a photo archive. That's why I create albums rather than just having things in the timeline, because things disappear on Facebook. Whereas if you keep them in the albums, they're always referable. And then I can, for example, for end of year, I can do a slideshow for end of year. So that's why I create albums for many of the events. and group areas, group areas. One day I'll get that right. Group leaders and area reps are very welcome to create their own albums. I just need to give you permissions. If you're happy to do it yourself, I'm more than happy for you to do that. And please join Facebook if you're not on there. Our Facebook group is completely private. Nobody out with the club can access it. So you've got no dangers. And if you're not posting anything, you can just use it as an information tool. There's notifications for meetings, events, etc. And you can see what everybody's up to. Finally, on YouTube, I would just like, firstly, to thank our speakers, who most of them have allowed us to record their presentations and put them on the internet, put them on YouTube. And considering that's their intellectual property, I think we need to be very grateful for that. But it's been a real boost for our internal members who are stuck wherever in the globe they are at the moment. As is Zoom, of course. And of course, if you're not able to make a meeting, even on Zoom, then it's there for you to watch at your leisure. So I just like to remind you, thanks to Suzette, Alan Committee, thanks to Amanda. I really would like to thank Elizabeth Handley for stepping in at the very, very last moment for us in May, I think it was. May, yeah. And yes, we've had everything from aquariums to Japanese women, not like that, Sergio. Egypt and Napoleon, where we even learnt about gender education, which was a really thought-provoking one. And of course, we had the champagne, so we had an excuse to drink in the morning, which is always a great thing to do. Oh, sorry. But finally, my biggest thanks must go to Wendy, Kutsia, and the entire Kutsia family. Hi, Willie. I'm sure, Billy, you're there somewhere watching. Without whom our YouTube channel just wouldn't be possible. So thank you very much, Wendy, and the rest of the Kutsia family. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Victoria. You have done so much for the club this year. Anyone who knows how on top of things, how she's helped anyone that's ever needed anything with the website, with the Facebook. She, as she said, did this whole social media course for people who didn't know a lot about how to access our online offerings. She's been phenomenal. So thank you. All right. Before we go on, I just would like to remind everyone that we will be having our November meeting, our end of year function. It'll be, as always, on the second Thursday of the month, which this year will be the 11th of November. And it's going to be a year-end celebration because we are now in level 1 and we can finally have everyone together to celebrate the end of this year. Yes. And I am now going to turn over to Sue Allenby.
Hello again, lovely ladies. It is so nice to see you all again in person. I can't tell you, my heart is singing. Because, yes, as the ladies have all said, we've had a couple of very, very difficult years, without a shadow of a doubt. We know the whole world has suffered with us. We know the whole world has been affected by this. But I just feel we came out on top, and we came out on top because of you. Every single one of you. You have been so wonderful to support us as your board. I say myself from last year and the ladies on the board this year that were with me. We couldn't have done it without you and without your generosity of spirit. And that's the important part. As the ladies have said, we are a friendship club, first and foremost. And for me personally, that is what has come out of all of this frightful situation. How wonderful you ladies are. I have the great pleasure as last year's president in announcing this coming year, 2022, the board that will be going forward. And as they say in Miss World, and you are all Miss World in my eyes, in no particular order, I would like to announce next year's board. Christine Paul's-Lyons, she will be our president next year. Yay! And on a personal note, having worked with Christine last year, you cannot wish for a more able president. She really is so on the ball, and on the ball in a wonderfully friendly, super way. Thank you, Christine. Now, a little bit about Christine. I'm probably repeating myself, but we do have a lot of new members because this was obviously spoken about last year and the year before. So forgive me if you've all heard this. Christine Pauls-Lyons was born in Yorkshire in England and was at school in Lincolnshire before starting her career in London. She worked at a London hotel as PA and then travelled to the United Emirates to spend 2 years working for the Hilton Hotels in Dubai. Upon her return to London in 1982, she started working for Forte. If you don't know, that's also another UK hotel company, in various different roles, including sales and marketing at the Grosvenor House. And I can tell you a few things about the Grosvenor House. And the customer service manager at their head office for Forte. Christine married Colin in 1985, and their son Harry was born in London, where for a short while she worked at the BBC in the department which produced the listing magazine, which is called the Radio Times. So she lived for 20 years in London, and they finally decided to come to South Africa whilst Harry was still very young. And they arrived in Cape Town in December of 1998 and settled in Somerset West. For 5 years, they ran a business called Planks, and that made educational wooden toys. And it was nominated for a Cape Talk Award. Eventually, this was sold in 2013. Sadly, Colin passed away in 2017. Harry has recently finished his master's in Bush University and hopes to work in South Africa. Christine is actively involved in her local community and enjoys her book club and tries to keep fit with regular walks with her 2 dogs and aqua aerobics. She's a member of Mensa, and her other hobbies are scrapbooking, visiting the theatre, and travelling when COVID permits. Thank you, Christine. Right, we now come to Janet. So full name is Rebecca Janet Benitez Garza. And don't ask me to say that again because I won't. She was born in June 1970, and she's the oldest of 5 children. Born in the north of Mexico in the city of Monterrey. I studied for a bachelor's in journalism and later finished her master's in communication at the Institute of Technology de Monterrey. After graduating, she worked for 5 years as an editor for the student newspaper Panorama at the same university. She then went to Switzerland in 1997 and married Martin Schellert. They lived there, and also Austria and Germany in Europe. Then they went in 2004, they returned to Basel, where their little daughter Janina was born. And Bianca II was born 2 years later in Basel. In the years prior to having children, she worked as a Spanish teacher and collaborated with the Mexican associations in Vienna, Hamburg, and Basel. Since January 2013, she's been teaching her Zumba. In her neighborhood in Basel, and then she works as an instructor at the Joggeli and Forum Fitness in that city. We have the lovely Jane Fairley.
Yes.
And Jane is going to do quite an exacting job because they are combining 2 for next year, the speaker chair and the secretary for 2022. I had the honour of serving as speaker chair under Wendy Coetzee a couple of years ago, and it is such a fun chair. You get to research a lot on the computer and then follow that up myself anyway, with personal telephone calls, and perhaps these days you could do Zoom. I guess we didn't do Zoom then. With all sorts of people that we asked to speak. And Jane will have, I think, a lot of fun with it, because diversity is the name of the game. Also, the secretary. So big shoes to follow with Mariana. Big shoes. But I dare say she'll do that job beautifully. Let me read her bio to you. Jane was born in Pietermaritzburg in KwaZulu-Natal. Apparently affectionately known as Sleepy Hollow. So I learned something again. I didn't know that. After the completion of her studies, she realised Pietermaritzburg was a little bit too small for her. And I'm not surprising, because she's got a big personality, far too big for Pietermaritzburg. So she arrived in the Cape at the age of 21. She followed a corporate career at SAF Marine International, which of course is a shipping company. And she was there for 10 years. And the reason she left there was that her husband, Ian, had been transferred to Copenhagen, Denmark. And there, her youngest daughter was born. She has 2 daughters now. One is Emma Jane, who's 28, and Hannah Sarah, who's 21. She's lived both there in Denmark and also in Belgium before returning back to the Cape. Her hobbies are home decor, upcycling and painting furniture, swimming, going to the beach, discovering new restaurants, socializing with friends and family, and of course, a good series on Netflix. Yeah. She's been a member of the IWC since the beginning of 2019, and our Rondebosch area rep for 2020 and quite a bit of 2021. So thank you so much, Jane, for stepping up and being our speaker and secretary. Thank you. Julia Haldane, please. Yes, she's a Londoner and taught, her education was in teaching. And then she taught in many, many schools and different types of situations, schooling situations too, including Doha in the Middle East. She then ended her teaching career in special needs, which Julia, knowing her caring personality, she says she really did love. I'm sure it must be a very, very rewarding type of teaching to get into. She's got 2 children and followed her daughter and her Afrikaans son-in-law here to Cape Town because they had their 2 children here, and she obviously didn't want to leave her 2 little ones, which means she came out to Cape Town in late 2016 and loves it. So Cape Town, she loves, and we love her for coming to Cape Town and being part of our wonderful IWC. She's a very gregarious and sociable person. She loves meeting new people. And so when the IWC was suggested to her, who suggested it?
My Beagle friend, Linda Gottlieb.
She's been organising the Sunday Lunch Club for 5 years, which I'm sure you all know about or have been to. It's such fun. And it's one of the few of our group meetings that hubbies or other halves can go to. As when I ran the wine appreciation group for 7 years, that was another one. We always put members are the first ones, of course, but then if there is the odd space or 2, then we'll allow those pesky men in, just a few now and again. Yes, she says that she loves the way that this group has gelled and grown as quite an important thing on our calendar for the IWC. When the opportunity came up to join the board, she felt that the time was right. And the thing that I think is fabulous is that she was membership secretary for a branch of the largest teaching union in England, and she enjoyed that role. Hence, she will be perfect, I think, for our role of membership secretary, as Yannick takes on her deputy president role. So she's looking forward to giving, and we are looking forward to having her in the membership role. Thank you. Susan. Susan needs no introduction. Woo, 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 woo. Susan Fernandez. Susan Fernandez worked with me again under Wendy's presidency as the financial chair and did a fab job. And of course, got you on board, Vanessa on board. And we couldn't have done it without Vanessa. And these two are they've just got such wonderful financial brains and nothing gets past them, nothing. So they are so on board with this. So thank you very much. Let me just read a little bit about Susan. She's also from Pietermaritzburg and went to school. She moved to Cape Town in 1990, where she maintained a home base while living and working in West Africa for 13 years. Her working life started in education, but not teaching as Julia. She was on the admin side of it. And after 7 years in Natal Education Department, she moved to Cape Town, just on a whim, not even a job or a plan, but young enough for that not to matter too much. After a few years working in the bookkeeping department of the Cape Town attorneys Buchanan Boys, Susan married Rui and moved to Sao Tome. Oh, very nice. And those who've never heard of it, which I hadn't prior to this, it's a very small tropical island right on the equator. Then when they came back, they had the one son. Susan and Rui moved to Franschhoek, where Susan was a stay-at-home mum for 5 years. In 2004, another move happened, this time to Angola. She worked with the Luanda International School as a senior accountant in the finance department until 2010. And during that time, a daughter was added to the family. The family moved back to Cape Town after a long stretch of the expat life, and Susan started a small export business, serving her former employer, the school in Angola. This work is very part-time and much less since the pandemic. So Susan has taken on several other small clients doing bookkeeping and admin work. For a small startup company. Oh, no, hang on. No, sorry. In addition, she's become involved in designing and making handmade knitwear. If you've never seen Susan's knitting, you've missed something. She is phenomenal. Nobody's got any of her stuff on now. She's awesome, really. She also enjoys theatre, reading, anything creative, and obviously a bit of travel when possible. She's had 2 years off from doing Our Money, the treasurer, and she'd had a little break and she'll once again do it. And I, again, personally, thank you, Susan. Right, Victoria, would you kindly leave your thingy? Victoria studied law and management at University in Aberdeen, Aberdeen, Scotland, and subsequently worked as a contracts manager in the oil and gas industry for 10 years because oil and gas is very big in Scotland, obviously being offshore. Her husband's job was relocated to Alexandria in Egypt in 2004, and that resulted in their holiday home, which is here in Constantia, becoming a proper home base between offshore postings. Victoria has lived in Alexandria, Perth, Australia, and Jakarta, Indonesia. As a way to make friends while her husband was offshore, she learned to horse ride in Constantia, and this led to her owning racehorses, including one that ran in the Durban July in 2017. Woohoo! Victoria and her husband Daryl are often to be found dashing here and there in the peninsula in their 1973 MG Roadster or Scottish country dancing, which exercises the mind and the body in equal measures. She has been fantastic to transform this board. Together with Amanda, they really have worked so hard, and honestly, my admiration is unbounding for the two of them, really, and it's fabulous that she will now be continuing to do her social media and Zoom and the whole tutti for us, because we need someone with that sort of expertise And there's not a lot that would take that portfolio on, really. So thank you. Thank you, Victoria. So last but by no means least, may I invite Margie to come up, Margie Biggs. Margie is a member of the RWC, of course. She's been since 2012. And she was raised on a sheep farm close to Fernandez in the Karoo. Educated at the Union High School in Winkfield Place, UK. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Oh, can we see you? Do you want to stand this side of me? You're all right. Okay, folks. And in the Cape Town Teachers College and then at UCT. She's single and she lives in Sea Point. Now, in 2012, she was the ShopRite Checkers South African Woman of the Year. She served as the first woman president of the Junior Chamber of Cape Town after 49 years. She served on the International Board of Junior Chamber and as vice president. And then was the president of the Association of Women's Business Owners for 2 terms. Founder of, now this is a wonderful organisation, the Street Smart South Africa in 2005. It's an NGO concerned with street children, and it raises funds for restaurants, wine farms, guest houses. It also works to make people conscious, the public conscious, not to give begging children money or food on the streets, because it's a can of worms. And it's not worth opening. So she's that Street Smart teaches us, the general public, the best way to go about helping these unfortunate, sad children. She's an entrepreneur and owner of specialised tours and events now, and she's had that for 31 years, which is the length of time I've been in South Africa. She's the owner of the Wine Tourism Conference, now in its 6th year. Her hobbies are travelling. She's been all over the show, about 56 countries. She likes vlogging. She loves walking. She's done Caminos in France and Spain. She's a qualified cordon bleu. This is our Margie. Officially, I have to ask for you to please pass these nominations. None of them are opposed. None of them have had anybody else for these positions. So these are the ladies for next year. May I have a show of hands? Thank you. Many, many congratulations for 2022.
Thank you for that, Sue. So I just want to say, from the board of 2021, a great congratulations to our new board that will be coming in. We are so excited for you to pass the baton on to you guys. And I just want to close by saying a few things. Once again, I'd like to thank my board of 2021. Thanks to Vanessa, we have a little gift hamper for all of you, if I can just give them briefly. Yes, so before I close this meeting, I just want to say that being on this board has been an incredible privilege. And it is really rewarding when you work in service for others, which I think the 2022 board will discover. I think a lot of them already know that from the wonderful work they've been doing, but there's something very special about being on this board. This is a friendship that you choose. And we all have these friendships that we choose through the IWC. But when you're in a position of leadership and giving back to a very special organization, it fills your cup up in a way that is unbelievable. I've heard when we had our meeting last month, Suzette was saying with her board, she was president 11 years ago, and she's still friends with the members of her board. So I wish this for the new board going forward in 2022. You are all very special and spectacular people. And as a club, we are so, so grateful and so privileged for you to be our new board. So congratulations, and the meeting is closed.